We are at the point where we need a scorecard to keep track of the Democrats running for president. Here are the dozens of people who could wind up in the race. Right now, we're at 10 candidates officially in the race. And the biggest names come from the United States Senate: Cory Booker, Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren. Then less prominent, Mayor of South Bend, Indiana, Pete Buttigieg, former San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro, Congressman John Delaney, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Then perhaps the least known, author and self-help guru Marianne Williamson, and entrepreneur Andrew Yang. We're going to take a little closer look at Andrew Yang today. He's never held elected office. He announced his intention to run in November of 2017. He's a graduate of Brown University and Columbia Law School. He founded Venture for America, a nonprofit designed to foster the next generation of entrepreneurs. And he served as the ambassador of global entrepreneurship under the Obama administration. Now Yang details a long list of priorities on his campaign website, though he largely pushes a progressive agenda. 3 policies are the most prominent in his campaign: universal basic income, human-centered capitalism, and Medicare for all. And I had a long conversation with Andrew Yang about a week and a half ago to discuss his policies, particularly those we're not as familiar with, like universal basic income and human-centered capitalism. But we started with how he can beat the odds to win his party's nomination. So there are some big Democratic names running for president, likely more on the way, and there are some big names, some no names. Don't mean to offend you if I put you in the latter category, because a lot of people say Andrew Yang, they say who. I promise we'll get to your issues. But how do you possibly expect to win the nomination trailing behind, let's just say, name recognition, what's going to be a very likely big field and a lot of money you might not be able to get, right?
Well, the fact is, most people are not paying that close attention to 2020 just yet. They're leaving their lives and they're waiting to see who emerges. And the people here in Iowa have an incredible responsibility and privilege where they get to determine who gets sent to the rest of the country as the nominee for the Democratic Party. And so the people here in Iowa I've spent time with, they're very, very serious about that responsibility. They want to size you up, want to spend time with you, want to have a sense of your values and vision for the country. And on that level, we're doing incredibly well.
What would you say is the one thing above all else that is uniting the Democratic Party going into the next year's election?
I mean, what's united the Democratic Party is just trying to get rid of Donald Trump.
There you go. All right. So you come to the race as a businessman with no real political experience holding elected office. That sounds similar to the man in the White House now. Donald Trump did have name recognition. Why do you think Democrats will give you a chance?
Oh, well, the reason why Donald Trump won in 2016 is that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and 40,000 right here in Iowa. I mean, there's a reason why he won Iowa by almost 10 points. And that reason is that our economy is changing in fundamental ways.
But do you think the Democrats are going to hold this to compare? I mean, your other Democratic counterparts are going to say, well, he's a businessman just like Donald Trump. He's coming into the race without political experience just like Donald Trump. Why do we want to give a Democratic version of Donald Trump a chance?
Well, Donald Trump's not a great leader or a representation of what it means to be a business person or an entrepreneur. And the entrepreneurs I know regard him as more of a marketing fake or charlatan than a real builder. And the American people can tell the difference. But the fact is, he became president because of these real problems in our communities here in Iowa and around the country, where again, Iowa lost 40,000 manufacturing jobs over the last number of years, and it's lost 12,000 retail jobs as commerce goes to Amazon and malls start to close. 3 of the malls here in Iowa are closing already. So those are the real problems that got Donald Trump elected, and the reason why my campaign is growing all the time, because those are the problems I'm focused on solving.
Kamala Harris raised $1 million in a day after declaring. Can you raise the $1 billion or more it will take to actually win the White House?
You know, we're doing incredibly well. We're raising hundreds of thousands of dollars from donors around the country, and our average donation is only $19. So I joke all the time that our fans are even cheaper than Bernie's. But it's... You know, it's...
I did see the $500,000 raised, a little less than that spent according to the FEC filing. So, I mean, you are raising some money, but we know it takes a lot of money here. Are you going to self-fund at all?
Yeah, so we'll have the resources we need to compete here in Iowa. And the great thing, again, about being here in Iowa is that Iowa will make its own decision. They're not going to base it on who raises the most money.
Part 1 of my conversation with Andrew Yang. Coming up, American Dividend, how much he wants to pay you every month if elected and why. For the record.